Ripley's Believe It or Not. A lot of us are familiar with this franchise in some form, whether it's the television show, museums, books, or radio show. Up until 1934, most of the people who knew the name knew it as a comic strip in newspapers. But before that year was over, Robert Ripley would bring that world to life during the World Fair at the unveiling of his new exhibit called the Auditorium. O-D-D, Auditorium. And taking center stage in this display of people who were called freaks was a child named Betty Lou Harris. Well, that's what she was called when she was working, which was basically her whole life, as the four-legged girl, then the four-legged woman. The highest paid human marvel in history, some say. Let's get into it. The lady who became known as Betty Lou Williams to the world was born Lily B. Williams on January 10th, 1932. Most of the sources that I have seen called her the youngest of 12 children. She was born into poverty in Albany, Georgia. Her parents were sharecroppers. And if that doesn't seem like enough hardship for one little girl, there's more. Lily B. was also born with a parasitic twin sibling that consisted of 2 legs, 1 small undeveloped arm, and another more developed arm, but not fully, having only 3 fingers, and a head that was embedded deep within Lily's abdomen. Despite all of that, according to doctors, Lily was a very healthy girl, and they proclaimed that there was no reason that she couldn't live a long and healthy life. Before I go on, I mentioned sources saying that she was the youngest of 12. However, in her own writing in a story for Jet magazine, she wrote that she had 14 siblings. At the age of 1, Lily was discovered by a professional showman named Dick Best. He changed her name from Lily to Betty Lou. Some say that he did this to pass off the parasitic twin as a boy. Apparently that was a lie that was common about parasitic twins in those days, that they were fraternal. But the twin was in fact a girl. And when Betty Lou got older, she would dress her twin sister in custom-made outfits matching her own. But back to the 1-year-old. After changing her name, Dick Best put her to work, displaying her in his New York museum. And it was there that she got her big break, if you feel comfortable calling it that. For it was at that museum that Robert Ripley saw her and hired her to work for him. Working for Ripley at only 2 years old, Betty Lou was earning $250 a week. That is the equivalent of $5,400 a week in today's 2022 money, and that was just the start for her. She would earn considerably more as she grew into adulthood, and she wasn't selfish with her money at all. She bought a 260-acre ranch for her parents so that they could live well and have their futures secured. One source claims that she spent $40,000 on the ranch. She also paved the way for all of her siblings to attend college. From being a money-making toddler, Betty Lou matured into an attractive adult woman. This ended up being a blessing and a curse. A blessing because Ripley believed that because she was pretty, she should have been paid more. So he paid her more. By the 1950s, she was regularly earning $750 to $1,000 a week, basically up to $11,000 per week in today's money. Sometimes she'd even earn a little more than that. Her beauty was a curse in the regard that, coupled with her very high earnings, it made her a target for male admirers who wanted to use her for her money. I went into detail about one of those guys in a previous video. Long story short, they talked about getting married, but he ended up being a lying thief. And that never stopped Betty Lou from wanting to marry him. When his cover was blown, he left her and took a great deal of her money with him. Later that same year, 1954, Betty Lou died at the age of 22. Her friends thought that she literally died of a broken heart because she was so distraught about his leaving her. That stress probably didn't help her in the end, but there were other medical concerns that Betty Lou was facing at the end of her life. From the time that Jet magazine started writing short articles about Betty Lou in 1951, they didn't stop until she died. In Jet's 1952 Christmas Day issue, Betty Lou wrote a 3-page story describing her life experience. This is how she started it. They call me the world's greatest wonder. I am the girl the carnival ballyhoo men spiel about when they invite you to step up and see the woman with one head, 2 bodies, 3 arms, and 4 legs. I am a freak. I was born that way and shall remain as I am for as long as I live. Chances are that you have seen or heard of me if you have visited a carnival in the last 19 years, because I have traveled all over the country with sideshows." End quote. From there, she went on to discuss wanting to make the best of her life despite her deformities. She expressed her thankfulness for being what people called a freak because it allowed her to provide very well for her family, which she thought was her main purpose in life. Her 14 brothers and sisters, and her parents. At the time Betty Lou wrote this article, she was 20 and had been working for 19 years. Some people who watched my previous video about her asked in the comments section, if she was making so much money, why didn't she get an operation to remove the extra legs? Well, that was a question that people would commonly ask her, and she answered in her writing saying that she would never risk death to become normal. Plus, she'd heard of a 4-legged man who died during an operation to have his additional 2 legs removed. Not only would she not risk death to become normal, but she wrote that she would not have risked her lifestyle either because she enjoyed earning her fabulous salary. Another question she was commonly asked was if she would ever commit suicide. She made it very clear that she would never. She loved life, even though people could be cruel to her sometimes. She also expressed a longing desire to get married to a normal man and to stop working and become a stay-at-home wife. But she knew that she would have to do that after her siblings finished college because she felt it wouldn't have been right to tie a man down with over a dozen dependents. Betty Lou was planning for a future beyond circus life. She revealed in her story that she was attending college. She was learning how to become a stenographer so that she could have a steady career when the carnivals stopped calling her for work. She ended her story by writing, quote, "You see, I'm planning for the future. I want it to be a rich, meaningful one. I'm not really different from you, am I?" End quote. Just before Christmas the following year, 1953, Betty Lou splurged on herself for a change and bought a new car, an Oldsmobile that she had customized to allow space for her extra legs. Then in May of 1954 started the saga of Betty Lou and the man she wanted to marry. At least that's when the story started in the press. Betty Lou claimed that she met the man, Ernest Lombard, in San Antonio in 1953, and they fell in love. I do believe that she fell in love. She said that they would get married as soon as some personal problems were ironed out, but she never said what those personal problems were. He claimed to be an Army ex-captain and an 11-year veteran at the age of 26. That seems really ambitious. A lot of experience for such a young person. Perhaps it was this story that prompted the Pentagon to investigate him and blow his cover the following month. He was, in fact, a dishonorably discharged private first class. At the time of that story, the two were staying in a double suite in a hotel. No doubt on Betty Lou's dime. Even after Ernest was exposed, Betty Lou still wanted to go on with the wedding. Her parents were not having any part of her decision to be with him. After being exposed as a fraud by the Pentagon, he ran home to Louisiana. But it turns out that he came back to Betty Lou. He started taking singing lessons at a Broadway school in an effort to prepare to go into a show business career with Betty Lou. They were planning on working together as a vaudeville team act after her contract was done at Coney Island. Then, just 2 weeks after the announcement of her fiancé's vocal lessons, Betty Lou came down with a severe case of tonsillitis. It was so serious that she had to have her tonsils removed, and her exhibit had to be shut down until she could return to work. Then, just 3 weeks later, at the beginning of September, Betty Lou had a very bad asthma attack. It was at this point that her doctors realized that she was allergic to cigar and cigarette smoke, to which she almost certainly would have been exposed while on the job. Then, 1 month later, in October of 1954, it was reported that while Betty Lou was working at the State Fair in Trenton, New Jersey, she suffered an asthma attack as well as a heart attack. Then she died. That particular report claimed that she was one of 15 children, being the fourth born. There are so many conflicting stories about the number of siblings that she had that I don't feel comfortable saying I know for sure which one is accurate or if any of them are accurate. I can't even pinpoint the exact date for her death. Some sources say 1955, but I know that that's incorrect. She died in 1954. And considering that I know Jet 2 basically have reported their stories about 2 weeks after the events occurred, I feel safe saying that Betty Lou either died in late September or early October of 1954, since her death was covered in the October 14th issue of Jet magazine. I do hate that she spent her last months pining for a user. It seems like such a sad ending for someone who lived her life being so generous to the people she loved. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please share it on all of your social media. That really helps this channel out a lot. My sources for this story are thehumanmarvels.com, Jet Magazine Archives 1951 through 1954, kentakepage.com, worthpoint.com, and Opera News. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.